Okay, what's up? I think we're live. Sweet. Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? Happy Saturday. Hope everybody's having a very fine weekend. Today, we are continuing in our offensive security walkthrough on TryHackMe, this time with Kenobi. And this actually completes the getting started section, so that's very exciting. You can see once we're done with this, we're actually 18% the way through. Next we'll have advanced exploitation, there's buffer overflow, Active Directory, and then an extra credit room, which is exciting. There's a lot more boxes here in the advanced exploitation. Let me see where Mr. Robot is, because I just noticed this achievement and I'm curious if that's in here or if it's somewhere else. Oh, here's Mr. Robot CTF. Okay, cool. So that's exciting. That's something to look forward to. But anyway, let's get to it. In case you've missed anything else or any of the previous live streams, we have done Vulniversity. We did that yesterday. We've done Blue. We did that last week. And in case you missed any of those and you're curious, you can check those out on my channel. Those are there. So today we're going through Kenobi. You know, him and Yoda, they've been doing a lot of file shares since Order 66. And unfortunately, they did not teach cybersecurity at, the Jedi Temple, which is not great. You would think that they would, but it's, it's okay. We're I guess in this case, now we're Imperial hackers. So how cool is that? So step number one, of course, is deploy the virtual machine. That easy. Step number two. So if you remember yesterday, the guide actually told us a lot about Nmap. It's not going to do that. It's expecting you to know Nmap by this point. So if you are still kind of new or curious about Nmap, check out the last room. Check out Vulniversity. Let's full screen this and let's do this scan right away. Hey, what's up, Fighter Club? Nashik, what is up? Mohammed Saqib, how are you guys doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Happy Saturday. So we're going to go ahead and do this scan. Let me know if the music is too loud. Yesterday, I think the music was like barely audible. I couldn't hear it whenever I watched the replay. I'm going to try to not make this full screen on accident. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me know about the music. I want to make sure that it adds, some nice filler sounds, some nice ambiance, as they say. But I also don't want that to compromise anything. Also of note, and I mentioned this yesterday, but while we're still kind of trying this setup, the webcam screen or the camera, we'll just say that, on my Mac, not very good. So instead I stream with my iPhone, but that causes some lag and sometimes you may not see my face, but I know the audio should still be good. Anyway, so let's go ahead and do this scan. So we're looking at open ports. So yesterday I meant to do the -sc command for some of the standard Nmap scripts. So we'll actually do that today. So let's go Nmap, and let me make sure that I copy the IP here. So we'll go Nmap stealthy. I want to scan everything. Scan with scripts. What else do we want to do? Oh, I also did not specify verbosity yesterday, but I want to show that off today, so we'll do that. And I'm not going to output this time. Do I want to output? This time I'm going to output because I think I remember we actually end up referring back to our scan. So I'm going to output here and put General Kenobi. That's what we're going to call the scan. Hello there. So we're going to let this run. So yeah, so this is one of the cool things about the verbose mode is it'll actually give you some output. Yesterday, we got no output during the scan, but with verbose mode, it's going to give you a ton of information. So that's fun. Okay, so we're looking for how many ports are open. So let's scroll up here and let's do some addition. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ports. That is the answer. Correct. All right, so that gives us some basic, reconnaissance. We're actually going to do another scan. So we've saved that scan, and let me show you off, or show you where that is going to be if we do ls We see 3 general Kenobi. The reason we see 3 is because that we decided to output in all formats. That's what -OA means. And so that gives us a GNMAP, Nmap, and XML formatted scan results. So, you know, if you want to export, let's say the XML, and do some extra work with that scan, or, you know, index it somewhere, you can do that. So how cool is that? So this room actually gives us several commands that we're actually going to be running through, but the point is that, you know, we learn what these things are doing, and we'll probably wind up coming back and using some of these later in like the advanced exploitation rooms. So first, we're going to read this this note here about Samba. Samba is the standard Windows interoperability suite of programs for Linux and Unix. It allows end users to access and use files, printers, and other commonly shared resources on a company's internet or intranet. I read that backwards, but it's okay. It's often referred to as a network file system. Samba is based on the common client-server protocol of the server message block, or SMB. SMB is developed only for Windows. Without Samba, other computer platforms would be isolated from Windows machines, even if they were part of the same network. So we can see here, and it tells us a little bit about it here in this line here above, but Nmap has an SMB enumeration script. So we're actually going to use this, and the cool thing right here is we can just copy it because it includes the correct IP for our box here. So we're going to copy this and just paste it. But what we want to know, of course, here whenever we run it, is what all is being done. It is scanning, I believe that would be 445 ports. Let me know in the comments if I am misreading that, which would be, I guess, the first 445. Because let me double check. Do we have any ports that we scanned previously over that? I believe we have one. We do, 2049. But just kind of looking at it, I don't think that's anything that we are concerned with for this lab. So, and then we invoke script, SMB enumeration, and we're looking for shares and users. So we're going to go ahead and let that start running. Let me fix my camera here. Cool. Let me know in the comments how everybody's doing today. It's good to see everybody. I'm not quite sure when the next stream is going to be, but it will be probably fairly soon. And we will probably dive right into the advanced exploitation room. So that's exciting. Okay, so, well, I guess it would help to know what the next question's going to be. Okay, it says SMB has 2 ports, 445 and 139, which would make sense that we're scanning up to 445, or up to, 445, because we do want to capture that in the scan. Using the nmap command above, how many shares have been found? So, and I actually, this one I goofed during the actual, whenever I was working through it. Let me see if I can see where it actually gives us the number of shares. Because we see, so I'm seeing 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. So you can, I guess a nice way to tell would be these 2 dashes, and then you're going to have like a path. So 2 dashes IP anonymous, 2 dashes IP print. So yeah, we end up with 3 shares. So we find 3 shares. So on most distributions of Linux, SMB client is already installed. Let's inspect one of those shares. So we can actually just pretty much go straight to it on the command line. SMB client. Let me spell client correctly. And what was the path? Anonymous. Okay. Well, I think we want to. What was the thing I did not do yesterday? Yes, I did not include a space. So we need // Here's our IP, excuse me, anonymous. Okay, cool. What do we do? Did I just, okay, yeah, so there's no password. Sweet. So you can just enter here. If you get stuck, you don't need to worry about looking for a password here. You can enter workgroup root's password is just blank. Great. Once you're connected, list the files on the share. What is the file you can see? So let's go ahead and do an ls-la. Oh wait, there was a specific spot we wanted to go to. It's connected, list the files on the share. Okay, well, here it is, log.txt. Don't include the LA like I just did. That was silly, because it actually tells us that that flag's not going to work out. So log.txt, that is here. You can scan, or you can recursively download the SMB share to H3ll0. Submit the username and password as nothing. So we're gonna just download this thing. How fun is that gonna be? Okay, so I guess we just do this in the same SMB get. And then what was the other part? Recursive SMB. So I guess that's what that is. I don't know if that's actually what that capital R stands for, so don't quote me on that. SMB anonymous. So okay, I think we actually need to do this in a different tab. So let's open a different tab here. SMB get SMB :IP/anonymous. Nothing. I did not include capital -R. Okay, so let's do that. Don't forget to include that flag. No password. Cool. Downloaded in 1 second. Probably because there's not a lot of stuff in there. All right. Let me hit me up in Discord, Frederick Lebnishi. Hit me up in Discord on that one. Let's see here. Open the file on the share. There is a few interesting things on here. So let's see if we can list it. You should be able to see, where is it? You know what? Open the file on the share. So let's do cat log txt. Is that what we were looking for? No, that's not. Yeah, okay, so that was in the file share. Open the file on the share. There are a few interesting things found. Oh, okay, so good. Yeah, that's correct. So scrolling up, I mean, we're seeing a ton of stuff. This is large. Oh, you know what? This is what it's talking about. We get an RSA key. That's something we care about deeply. And port is running FTP 21. We see that down here. Wow, so this gives us all kinds of crazy stuff. Okay, so that's not good. Okay, so your earlier Nmap port scan will have shown port 111 running the service RPC bind, and let's double check this because, I mean, I trust it, but I want to make sure that just for our educational purposes that we actually did capture that in the scan, and we did. How cool is that? All right, this is just a server that converts remote procedure called RPC program into universal addresses. When an RPC service is started, it tells RPC bind to address at which it is listening. I am struggling to read. My bad. To the RPC program number it is prepared to serve. So basically, we're going to run another Nmap scan, scanning 111, just 111. And we're going to use this script that's going to show us some information about that specific amount. Okay, so let's get that going. Where are we down? Okay, let's go down here. We want to do this in the other tab. Because we currently are logged onto the share in this left tab. On the right tab, I want to actually be doing some more stuff. Okay, so here is some stuff we find here. What mount can we see? var. NFS show mount var. We can see some more here. We actually get some nice little information. We see how many or how much space is being used, how much is available. So we see it. I mean, it's about 22% full. So that means there's definitely some interesting things in there we might want to take a look at. So that's what we do with reconnaissance is, you're really just getting all kinds of cool information that you're going to use later, to come back and do your attack. So let's look at ProFTPD. It's a free and open source FTP server compatible with Unix and Windows systems. It's also been vulnerable in the past software versions. So we want to see what version it is running. And we can find that. Can we find that in this scan, or do we have to go to the other ones? Oh, use netcat to connect to the machine on the FTP port. Okay, so let's try that. Netcat on the FTP port. So I guess 111, right? Was it that, or was it 21? I think it was 21. I think I goofed and put the wrong port here. Okay. Let's Control C out of that one. Let's go 21. So, yep, we see ProFTPD 135. So we're going to just listen. We will be coming back. We can use search exploit, which if you're not familiar, that is default, or that is installed by default on Kali systems. And it's basically just a giant database that you can query for vulnerabilities on different applications and platforms. So we're actually going to use that. Oh no! Fighter Club Nashik. Today I lost my 20-day streak on TryHackMe. I feel for you. I had a 3-day streak. I was wanting to build it up and I lost it, but it's not even close to the same, but I feel for you. It's okay. We are in this. We are in this together. Okay. Search exploit, and we want to look for, let's do this on another tab. So we got 3 tabs now. So we'll go search exploit. What was the, let's just do ProFTPD. ProFTPD. Okay, let's try taking that dash out real quick. Okay. Okay, maybe it's case sensitive. FTPD. I was also just, let me do ProFTPD. There we go. So I wasn't typing it correctly. That's on me. So we got 3 vulnerabilities for version 1.35, which is what it is running. So that's something we want to take note of. Oh, well, that's actually what it's asking right here. So 3 vulnerabilities. Cool. And it's going to specifically look into the mod copy module. The mod copy module implements site cpfr and site cpto commands, which can be used to copy files and directories from one place to another on the server. Any unauthenticated client can leverage these commands to copy files from any part of the file system to a chosen destination. Ruh-roh. The force is not strong with that one. We know how many Star Wars puns am I going to make today? I mean, I've already made 1. That's not bad. How long has this stream been going for? That's not terrible. I'll try to make more to make up for it. We know the FTP service is running on the Kenobi user from the file on the share, and an SSH key is generated for that user. And that's actually the ID RSA key that we found here. This. Yeah, so we're going to want to, probably pull that key for ourselves, and that's for Kenobi. Okay, so let's mount. Let's see here. Okay, so we are currently listening here. So we'll go back to our netcat session down here, I believe it is. Or was it? It is here. Okay, so here's a note. If you're working through this on your own, you have to do these commands here in the screenshot in order. I tried, while I was running back through this lab, I tried to see if you could run these commands like just cite CVTO, because if you notice this first one, oh, you know what? Actually, that makes sense. I think I just misread the error or the output message. So anyway, disregard. So we're gonna go cite CPFR home Kenobi. and it is case sensitive. CPFR home Kenobi .ssh ID RSA Kenobi. Okay, and then we're gonna do, what are we gonna do? Site CPTO var temp ID RSA site to var temp. Is that correct? ID RSA. Yep. Copy successful. Cool. So we have copied Kenobi's SSH key, basically, and we've put it into our own directory. We knew that the var directory was a mount. We could see, we saw that from the scan earlier. So we've now moved Kenobi's private key to the var temp directory. Now we are actually about to mount the directory. Because it's a file share, you can mount this directory and access the files and data. So we're going to create, where do we want to do this? We want to do this here. So let's make dir. And we'll just kind of follow along. So mount Kenobi NFS, mount Kenobi NFS. Okay, and then we want to go with the machine IP, and then we're going to give the path to the mount, or to the file share, I guess. Var, and then we want to mount it to the directory we just created, which is mount Kenobi NFS. Oh no! Whoops, meant to include S there. There we go. Mounted. Okay, so now we are going to list the contents of what we have just seen. So ls, la, Kenobi, NFS. Cool. So as you can see, we have just mounted that directory, that var file share, and we have all kinds of cool stuff in there. So that's mighty fine. We now have a network mount on our deployed machine. We can now go to var temp and get the private key, then log on to Kenobi's account. So we're going to go, basically here it's copying that. So we'll go copy mount Kenobi. What was it, var temp? Am I remembering that correct? Yes, temp ID RSA dot. Okay, so we've done that. Now it's going to go, we're changing the permissions on this RSA key. And again, we're root, so you don't necessarily have to include sudo. So chmod 600 ID RSA. And then we're going to SSH using that key as Kenobi into the target box. SSH-I, which the I flag in SSH allows you to use a key. Keys obviously are going to be more secure than using a password with the SSH, so it is preferred you use a key. What's not preferred is that you store that key somewhere that an attacker can grab it like we just have. So definitely be careful about where you're storing your SSH keys. But right now we have it. We move on. We're on the dark side. Poor Kenobi has found his last match. So let's go Kenobi, because that is a user we are SSHing in as. And as you can see, we have now SSH'd into the box. So sweet. So now we're in. All right, what is Kenobi's user flag? So let's go. Let's check. So let's go, at least list what's in here. We'll go. Really? Let's cat user txt. Actually, that's going to be the flag. So it's great, because we are actually, whenever you SSH, you're by default going to be in Kenobi home, or home Kenobi, I should say. So you don't really have to switch directories to get there. Okay. If you remember, we did some SUID stuff yesterday. Boy, this is the fun stuff, right? So we're going to basically escalate our privileges and get root. And there's going to be a root key that we're going to find here. So I'll read this part here. SUID bits can be dangerous. Some binaries, such as password, need to be run with elevated privileges as it is resetting your password on the system. However, other custom files could that have the suid bit. Okay, that reads a little weird. Could have the suid bit can lead to all sorts of issues. Interesting. Okay. Basically, custom files with suid bit can lead to issues because they might run with escalated privileges, and that could allow someone like us that's on the dark side to cause some problems. So try to search the system for these types of files running the following. And it gives us the command here, which is basically, finding different permissions levels, basically just files that are running suid bit. So let's paste. It's going to show us all kinds of stuff. These pretty much all will look like normal. You can compare off of other stuff that you're running on your own system. So if I want to open my own tab, let's try running this on my own box and see what happens. So you can compare if you'd like, and if you notice something that's coming up in here that it would not be coming up in here, then that would probably help you know what might be a custom program. Now what you're not going to notice in here that exists in here, and I'm just going to jump straight to it because I already know, is going to be this user bin menu. This user bin menu. We're not going to see that in our own because it's a custom program. So we'll basically put that in here, and then we're going to run that binary and see what happens. So let's go user bin menu. And it shows us several things that could happen here. So let's just hit 1 and see what happens. And it'll show us all kinds of cool information about the machine. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to we're going to use that to escalate our privileges effectively. So we're going to, because it runs curl, that's how it's actually doing this. It uses curl, so we're going to run curl with escalated privileges and basically just pass those privileges onto us and get the root shell. So, and this is kind of where I had several issues, but I figured it out. So let's go. Following this script, or following, these screenshots that it's kind of walking you through, here's what I ended up doing, because I followed along just doing curl as shown, and I was not getting the root shell, which was really frustrating. But if you run it with a // before curl, that will actually help you out a bit. So let's go echo bin shell, and then we're going to push that into curl. Okay, now we're going to change, yes, okay. Now we're going to change the permissions. chmod 777 curl. Okay, now we want to export the path. So let's do echo. This is case sensitive. You have to go all caps. So echo path. This is our path right here. So we are going to export to path. So let's just go temp. Yeah. Export path temp. Export path equals. Oh, whoops. Let me make sure that I'm typing this in correctly. Equals / no, don't want to do that in there. /temp. And then you'll use this colon to kind of mark the ending of what you're adding, and then you'll go back and put path. This $sign, it's kind of, I think the best way I understand it is it's like a macro where it kind of calls like the path. I think that's correct. That's the best way I've learned it. So if anybody has a better explanation for the $sign and then kind of what that role is, definitely put in the comments. It's not only helpful for me, but others as well. So we are going to, well, first we want to make sure that this is correct, which it is. So we're going to put that there. Okay. Not valid. Why is that? It's not great. Export path. Oh, you know why? We don't want that $sign right here. Whoops. There we go. Okay, now you're going to run that binary again. So user bin menu. Hit 1. And now we are in root. Who am I? And the reason that we're in root, remember, we pretty much passed bin shell into, or /bin/shell into curl. We increase the permissions on /curl, and status check number 1 is running curl, the curl that we already own. And so whenever we run it, it automatically elevates us straight to root. So if I want to, we can list here, I believe it's user.txt. Let me do cat user.txt. And there's our final flag. That is not the final flag. I lied to you guys. We need to go to the root directory. And where will and then we need to go to, so let's just cat it, right? Cat root/root/root.txt. And that's the flag. So that's it. That's Kenobi. I mean, I think it was pretty quick. I had a much less of a difficult time with this box than I did the last one. The last one I spent quite a bit of time banging my head against the wall. But this one I was able to just kind of fly through last night. So I was like, heck, I'll go live and do this now. So, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are here. Let's do, while we're on here, and I'm going to go ahead and close this out because we don't need it anymore. While we're here, let's kind of do a nice little look forward here. We have finished the getting started section, so that's pretty cool. Again, if you've made it this far, I'm assuming you've probably watched these videos, but if you haven't, I mean, definitely check them out. They're very helpful, very educational. I've learned a lot on here. So I guess the next step is going to be advanced exploitation. So the next one will be Steel Mountain, which that's exciting. How about that? So cool. And we'll get to use Metasploit. That's very exciting. That's very exciting. Cool. So that'll be exciting. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'll be posting this stream to the channel just as a normal video here in a moment. But until then, it's good to see everybody. Happy Saturday. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And I will see you guys next time.